guys, what's happening? It is Sunday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. This is about the fourth or fifth time I've done this. My video software has taken a crap on me about 5 times, so I've been reinstalling and uninstalling it. So I just decided to do this with the generic built-in Windows camera, and I will edit it myself from there. First up, the video is coming late because I had to make a trip to the emergency room. I guess I was going to say unexpected trip, but no one really anticipates going to the emergency room. Woke up Wednesday morning and my left arm was locked like right about here, and my right arm I could move right like that and then go back like that, and that was about the much range of movement as I had. It turns out I had massive muscle that runs down the basically the on the side of your spine. On each side there's a muscle, and the one that runs down my spine from basically the base of my neck all the way to my hip was spasming and causing all the nerves in my shoulder and back to basically compress every time it would spasm. Not completely pinch because I didn't have any burning or tingling in my fingers, so the doctor gave me a painkiller and a painkiller at the site, and then a muscle relaxer in my hip. And within about a half an hour, I was good. I was still really sore because everything had sort of just locked up. But yeah, not so much scary as it was very intensely painful. My girlfriend had to put my socks and shoes on, and had to put my coat on. I was in basically my pajamas, standard pajama pants and a t-shirt, and yeah, it was kind of scary. So I had to go in, get that taken care of. So normally I put my videos together on Wednesdays, wasn't able to do that. So here we are today. All right, first up, we have, we'll go this way. All right. Thrift was kind of picked over. There was nothing amazing out there. Goodwill was the only place that had anything. Found a copy of The Sims 2 for the PSP, and I'm not a huge Sims fan, but this is the kind of way I like to play these games, I guess. On the PSP, something I pick up and set down and not have to worry about it. I don't have to play it for hours to get deeply involved. I can play for about 15-20 minutes, then put the game back down, and I'm fine. Picked up a game for my niece and nephew, and I'm actually going to give it a try too. This is Pets Dogs 2 for the Wii. I'm going to throw it in my Wii and see if my puppy Buckley will react to it. I say puppy, and the guy's almost 2 years old. He's not really a puppy anymore. Certainly not an adult by the way he behaves, but he's not a puppy anymore for sure. And I picked up Moto. Those first two were $3.99 each. This is Moto Racer World Tour for the PlayStation, and I do like going back to these old racing games because some of these the physics and whatnot is ridiculous, so I like playing them just to see how silly and over the top they were back then. But $1.99, whatever. Same with Cool Borders 2001. Absolutely love the Cool Borders series. Was not a huge, aside from Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future, I have to admit I wasn't a extreme sports guy, I guess. But I do like the Cool Borders, and Cool Borders 2001 had a fairly robust character creator for the time. I mean, you have to take into consideration this was on the PS1 hardware, and this game came out in 2000. So at that point, the PlayStation 1's hardware was pretty long in the tooth, so that was pretty cool. And then last but not least, one definitely super cool pickup. This thing is in terrific shape. An N64 controller. I really don't like these, but I have a complete set now for my N64. When I say I don't like these, there's the Interact Control Pad 64, and it's laid out similar, more basically halfway between it reminds me a lot of the Genesis 6-button controller and a PS1 and the DualShock one. It's halfway between both of those. They kind of merge together. But yeah, everything's great on here. The stick is in great shape. You get those plastic shavings from using it too much, and there's not really much in there. There's not much wear on there. The eject button is still stiff. I have a feeling somebody got this for their kids, an N64 for their kids, at the end of the N64's lifespan, when you started to see price drops when the GameCube, PS2, and original Xbox came out. And I have a feeling their kid just put it away because it's not beaten on. There was a handful of N64 games there. Like I said, what you would expect. You know, Madden, a bunch of kids games like Rugrats, I think. There's like 4 or 5 games there too. I'm assuming if there was a console there, it went rather quickly. All right, on to some eBay pickups. First up, Bujin Guy, The Forsaken City. This is hack and slasher, mild. I would say not necessarily mild. We'll put mid-rangey RPG elements. You can create your own attacks and whatnot. One of the cool things is he's got some acrobatic abilities. You have wall running while you're continuing to combo and everything. One really cool thing about this game is when he slashes with his sword, it makes like a trail of light, like looking through a prism or a crystal, I guess. It makes this really bright trail of light. It's a really gorgeous game, even to this day. Sadly, we won't really see any games like this get made again unless it's from an indie developer. We won't see these put in physical release anymore, unless it gets really big, something like Shovel Knight. You know, if it got big like that, then we might see a physical release. Okay. Then on to a couple of Xbox pickups that I didn't have for my original Xbox collection. Battle Engine Aquila. Terrific game. You have this is the battle engine right here, I guess. He transforms from mech to walking to land mode. Let's see if I can get this to focus again. All right. Sorry about that. The autofocus was going a little crazy on me. Anyway, you play as the battle engine. He's got a ground or walking and flight mode. It's a lot of fun. It's actually, if it's backwards compatible, I am going to definitely do a stream of it or maybe a gameplay of it. Up next, Kill Switch. I do have this for the PS2. Plays way better on the Xbox. The hardware was built better for shooters. This game is widely considered to be the first cover-based shooter, and I say, yeah, this one was the first one that did it as a core feature. Something that you had to do, but let's not forget Winback and Winback 2, which I believe even came out before this. Both of those had cover-based elements and certainly did it competently. Maybe not as much as of a feature like this. I mean, like I said, right on the back there, it says take cover, take aim, take over. So taking cover is like central to the gameplay. You don't necessarily have to take cover and win back, but you should if you want to progress through it quickly. It's easier to dispatch your enemies when you're firing from cover. I'll do a live stream of that because actually, it doesn't really matter if any of these are backwards compatible. I use the Roxio GameCap HD Pro, and that's got component inputs on it, so I can stream from my PS3. As I understand it, I don't think you can stream from the HDMI output anymore, or can't yet, or anything. Sony should really change that, but that's a different story. And then last but not least, an Xbox exclusive. Uncommon, but not rare or valuable by any means. Daisen Ryaku Modern Military Tactics 7. Hexagonal-based military tactics game. Has a fantastic map editor for its time. You got to take that into consideration. But very, very good game. This is for my buddy Mitch. If you're listening, track yourself down a copy of this. It's really good. I know you like tactics and strategy games a lot more than I do, but this is a really, really good game. It not really graphically intensive. It just plays really well, and I believe this one is also backwards compatible. But like I said, if not, some of the stuff that I want to do captures and gameplays on doesn't really matter. I'll just run it through that. All right, then I went out to Rock 30, dumped off a bunch of Blu-rays. I went through the collection and said, you know what, if it hasn't been watched in a year, it's going. So couldn't let this guy sit on the shelf anymore. This is my favorite GameCube game, Pikmin, hands down. You know, Captain Olimar and his crew of Pikmin, you know, the different colored ones have different abilities. It's just a lot of fun, amazing game. I'm going to have to get Pikmin 2 at some point because I do have Pikmin 3. I haven't even had a chance to tear into Pikmin 3 yet. I just bought it. What did I get it for? I think I got it for 25 or 30 when Kmart was blowing out their video games section. And even at 30, that game is a steal, so I wasn't going to let it sit there either. Another one for the Wii, Excitebots Racing. Nintendo really did a good job. Do I have, looking over here really quick, I think I have Nitro Bike, and I always get that mixed up with, but I'd like to track down a copy of Excite Truck as well. I've already played about an hour of this, a lot of fun. The Excite bots. They're like trick racers or kart racers. The only issue I take with it is, you see that Nintendo made this exclusively a 2-player game, which doesn't make sense. One of the best things about the racing games on the Nintendo platforms is that they fostered a 4-player co-op. Whatever, didn't have this in there. Then last but not least, picked up TMNT. Glad to grab this. This thing has only gone up in prices. Most of the Turtle stuff has. I sold my copy of Hyperstone Heist for the is that what it's called? I always forget what the Genesis one was called. It was either Hyperstone Heist or Manhattan Project. I always get those mixed up. But I put it on eBay thinking it would go relatively low, and it ended up going for like $88 for cart only. I can't explain it either. I bought it for $5 years ago. So, but this one's definitely fairly uncommon. It's getting into this rare territory now, as people aren't trading in many copies. A couple of people at GameStop said they very rarely see it, and Rock30 says they see it about once a month at max. So I grabbed this up. Still have about, after all that, about $27 or $17 in credit at Rock30. I can't remember. Went over to GameStop. As expected, I didn't think any place else in town would get this. You got to understand, North Dakota is not a lot of people don't buy the smaller games around here. Certainly, just like every other area of the country, Call of Duty sell, but the niche titles don't sell as well. So lots of stores will only get one copy of a game. Luckily, I got the one copy that our GameStop had. This is Nitro Plus Blasters Heroines Infinite Duel. Saw the see if it'll focus again. Saw the Giant Bomb quick look on this. Sorry, it's kind of early morning. I'm kind of mumbling through this, but this is third or fourth time I've recorded it. Camera's still going crazy here. I'm using, like I said, I'm using the Windows camera app, and not my normal video recording stuff. Anyway, Nitro Plus Blasters Heroines Infinite Duel. Absolutely amazingly gorgeous game, but the cool thing is some of these attacks are absolutely ridiculous. The one I will cite the most is the character that wheels out a shopping cart and hurls cats at her opponent. As I understand it, that's not a special or anything. That's just a standard attack. It's based on a bunch of visual novels and anime from Japan. Not into any of that stuff. Anime I don't mind so much, but visual novels don't do it for me. If you like them, if they're your thing, terrific. They're just not my thing. However, gorgeous visuals, sort of cel-shaded, not sort of, definitely cel-shaded graphics, and you know my stance on cel-shaded graphics. All right, out to Best Buy. This was returned as an open box. It was not opened at all. Somebody just returned it, so I don't know why they returned it, and I'd been interested in playing it. They didn't have any other edition. They didn't even have the regular physical edition of this in the store, so I grabbed this. Life is Strange, limited edition for the Xbox One. Super glad to get this. This is normally not my type of game. As I just said, I wouldn't consider this to be a visual novel by any means, but everything I've been seeing and reading, I have to at least give this a whirl just to see what it's like. Looks really interesting. If I remember correctly, it was I know it was episodic, but if I remember correctly, the first episode launched and was kind of a rough launch, and then when they started hitting their stride around the second episode, people started going nuts for this. It's comes with an art book, director's commentary, and soundtrack. So I'm I'm totally interested in getting into that. Then Best Buy had a buy two get one free on used games, so I picked up Section 8 for the 360, sort of a mech shooter type game. It says it's got no manual, but I've had this happen before where I open it up. If not, I can't imagine artwork and manual for Section 8 is tough to track down. Grabbed up a copy of the Bigs 2 for the PS3. I have the Bigs 2 for the 360, but if anybody has artwork and manual they are willing to sell me or trade me, drop me a comment below. We'll see if we can work something out, because I cannot for the life of me find the artwork or manual for that. When it comes to in particular Xbox and Xbox 360 and Sega Genesis, when I grab those, I want them to be complete, because in terms of the Genesis, it came with a solid clamshell case. You shouldn't have thrown it away. Anyway, Leagues 2, fantastic arcadey baseball game. Basically, think of it as the NBA Jam, if you've never played these, the NBA Jam of the Major League Baseball games. Then Soul Calibur 5. This is the one 3D fighting series that I do enjoy because, and I think that's because it has weapon-based combat. I'm not into the 3D fighters that, you know, there's nothing wrong with them. It just, I played so much Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat as a kid that I got married to that 2D fighting style. And I absolutely love it. That's not to say there's anything wrong with the 3D fighters. I just prefer the 2D fighters. Speaking of 2D fighters, as I was just saying, we don't get many niche titles in Grand Forks. Why this was on our shelf in Best Buy in Grand Forks, still new and sealed, is beyond me. But Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax, another gorgeous cel-shaded fighter. This is the version that comes with the soundtrack, so I'm really glad to get it. But like I said, I'm going to assume that this was a pre-order for in-store pickup that somebody decided not to pick up. But anyway, glad to get it. Gonna pop this in and give it a whirl probably today anyway. And then last but not least, as I've said before, I am a huge, get this to refocus again, it is just fighting me every step of the way. Sorry. Let's see. There we go. There we go. It does it like rather quickly when I put my hand up there, but if I hold up a game close, it doesn't. As I've said before, I'm a huge champion. I absolutely love cel-shaded graphics. It was the trendy thing way back in like 2001, 2002. Everybody was putting out a cel-shaded game. However, the ones that look amazing, Wind Waker, Fur Fighters, Cell Damage, Wind Waker, Fur Fighters, Cell Damage, Borderlands, those are a handful that do it really well. There might, I can't remember, there might be a Looney Tunes or an Acme game that has a cell shading effect to it. I can't remember. I know that they did a bunch of 3D based ones too, but anyway, this is Arslan, Legend, the Warriors of Legend. I know nothing about this series. Saw a quick look on it. I talked about Giant Bomb before I got my Giant Bomb t-shirt. Said I had a bunch of Funhouse stuff and Rooster Teeth stuff. I should probably get on board with Giant Bomb because those are the two things I go to the most. Giant Bomb, Funhouse, and Game Informer. Anyway, Arslan, the Legend of Warrior, gorgeous cel-shaded game. I'll say this, W Omega Force has kind of come out swinging this generation with Hyrule Warriors, Dragon's Quest Heroes, the World Tree and the Blight Below. I will say that they have come out swinging like you wouldn't believe. The Heroes formula had grown kind of stale, and it still is button-mashy combat, but they put such attention to detail in some of these properties that are not the Samurai and Dynasty Warriors that they did a fantastic, fantastic job with this. I am actually really glad that to get this. I haven't opened it up yet, but playing a lot of Hyrule Warriors and Dragon Quest Heroes, I'm having a blast with it. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. To Alex, Alex knows who he is. The Game Room Tour is coming next week for sure. I've finally got everything rearranged, and the games are cataloged, and I know where I've got everything. So the Game Room Tour is coming next week. Hopefully this video turns out. If not, I'm still going to post it just to get it done with and see if I can figure out what's wrong with my video software. If I can't, I'll just get a new application or whatever. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week. Oh, I probably have 2 slightly stupid shooters coming this week and at least one, hey, I'm playing that. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.